Hey, what's going on, everyone? Sly, and I want to get into Ricky Pearsall for a little bit. But first, man, rest in peace to the great Brenton Woods. Man, he had some classics, man. If you grew up Northern California or East LA, man, that was your boy right there. A lot of great hits, man, and man, gonna miss him, man. What a great dude he was. And let's get into Ricky Pearsall though.
Ella baila sola. Ella baila sola.
Ella sabe que está buena.
And beginning of the year, obviously, what happened in camp. In camp, a lot of guys were calling him a bust. Obviously Grant. I love Larry Krueger, but he was calling him a bust because, he started off slow and then he got hurt. And it was just bad. And it just got even worse, when he got shot. He just really didn't have a camp at all. And when he finally came back, when was it? Like week 7, 8, something crazy like that. He finally came in, and obviously you're rusty. You're not there yet. And we've seen it before. The reason I feel like I'm so confident with him is we've seen it with Bosa when he was going through that contract negotiation. He wasn't there on the field to take reps, and he started off hella slow. We saw what happened with Brenton Ayuk. It was week 7 when he got hurt, and he still wasn't the same, man. He just wasn't the same player. And I think he would have got going, but it would have been way down the road later on in the year. And then Debo never got going when he was going through his contract negotiations. And, it cost him the whole year. He was chubby, out of shape, never got back in shape when he got his contract negotiation. So all those guys right there, they really weren't doing things at camp. The only one that was actually there, he wasn't even participating, was Debo Samuel. He was always on the sideline. He wasn't really with the teammates, wasn't running routes, didn't have that football, wasn't in football shape. So you got to look at Ricky Pearsall, and it's the same pretty much situation with him. And we've already seen flashes, which I already love, we heard from Guy Haberman how he was like doing really well when he was there in training camp. But then he just kept constantly getting hurt. But you see these flashes, and you have to look back at our old draft picks. Look at who I know back in the day. A lot of you guys don't remember, but remember Rashad Woods? I think he was with Mariucci. He never had a game that Ricky Pearsall had against the Lions. Like nothing even close, man. And look at a guy like who's again? AJ Jenkins, another first round pick bust, where you didn't see any glimpses of hope whatsoever. Like you knew right away, like after that year, like dude, there's not one game like you could show anything at all. He just didn't have it whatsoever. So looking at Ricky, he's already shown that with a few games, with the Lions, obviously, and then even the Bucs game, he actually did really well. He had that nice touchdown, but he had a few clutch catches on that final drive with Brock Purdy, which led us to that field goal. He had some nice, beautiful routes that he ran. So, I mean, to me personally, I do see it, man. I do see him out there where he's going to contribute within, I think, year 2. This year, obviously, didn't work out with all the injuries and not able to go to camp. That's why camp is so important. That's why we need to stop this thing where it's like you wait to sign them, they hold out, they're not really working out with the team. That hurts. Obviously, it was different with Kittle and Fred Warner because they were still practicing. They were still there with the team and doing drills. Going 7-on-7s, training camp 11-on-11s, and when they got signed, they were ready to go, and so they had no fall off when they were going through their contract negotiations. So it's huge, man. Camp is huge, and I mean, I just feel that there's no way this guy's going to be a bust. Obviously, me personally, I didn't want him. I was so pissed off that we got a running back, but when we drafted him, I had seen a tape on him. I'm like, dude, this guy's not going to be a bust. Like, his route running is so damn good. It's one of the best. Him and Ayuk Ayuk has the best route running, but I think he's second best as far as route running on the team. And you can't teach that, right? Or you can teach it, but I mean, I think some people have it, some people don't. And he's someone that does have it. He does create separation, man. He was creating so much separation against the Lions, be it the Lions, they don't have the greatest defense, but still, man. Him and Brock Purdy never had that connection. They never had that training camp together. So obviously it just didn't work out. But I think over the offseason, these two are going to probably get together and just work on their craft together. So to me, personally, I think there's nothing to worry about, and I'm someone that's I'm hard on players, I am hard on players, but you got to be fair with them, I know Javon Kinlaw, his first year was not good, but I didn't say anything. I was like, dude, it's his first year. But after that second year, you knew, like, oh, damn it, he's not the guy who we thought he was. I know he was hurt and all that, but then when he came back, you didn't see it, man. You didn't see it at all. You didn't see a game or two, him stack up games where it's like, yeah, I see it with Javon Kinlaw or other busts throughout the years that we've had, from Solomon Thomas, even Reuben Foster, but he was more of a knucklehead. But a lot of guys, you didn't see it. Solomon Thomas was disappointing too. You knew right away, like, damn, this guy just doesn't have it, man. Just didn't have it, man. So it was like Brenton Woods, man. You were like, just give me that kind of sign now. Oh, my baby. And we just didn't see it with a lot of these guys. So I see it with, I see it with our boy right here, Ricky Pearsall, man. I think he's going to do his thing in the offseason. He's someone that we hear all the time that he kind of works too hard. Like, he trains so hard because he wants to be his best. And that's something I want. I'd rather have him out there training his ass off, wanting to be great, than him being someone like Jamarcus Russell out in the strip clubs, and then just getting fat, overweight. Deebo Samuel, same thing, man. He's always up and down with his weight. It's like, bro, come on, man. Be a professional here. I don't think we have to worry about that with Slick Rick here. So, to me, no concern. And I think now that he's going to be starting to enter his prime, we drafted him. He was already 24 years old. So, he got off, when he was playing well. Good start. Next year you're expecting big things out of him, because this is his time. Like, he's starting to enter his prime already. A lot of these guys that we drafted, they're a little older. Pooney, a little older. We got a little bit more out of him. So you like that, Guys that we drafted that were younger, like, who was it? Drake Jackson. We drafted him. It was cool that we drafted him all, but he was still young pup, 21 years old. I think he's still younger than Ricky Pearsall, and we never saw it with him at all. So it sucks, but it is what it is. So I'm expecting big things from Slick Rick. And Purdy. That connection, it's got to take place, man. It has to take place. And by the way, look at Brandon Ayuk. His first year, he had flashes, just kind of like Ricky Pearsall, but he never really got going, dude. It took him to year 3 to actually be like, oh shoot, like Brandon Ayuk, man. But you knew right away he wasn't a bust like these other guys, just because he did have games. I remember that Giants game, he actually did really well. I think he had 2 touchdowns that game, and then obviously him going in the doghouse with Kyle Shanahan and whatnot. But you knew that there was something there. Even though it took 3 years for Brandon Ayuk to get going, you knew something was there. Like, you knew something was there. And I think that kind of had to do more with Kyle. But then again, Brandon Ayuk, you could see how he could be a little bit of a headache the way this year in camp he wasn't wearing the right shorts. And he did that on purpose, man. It's like, he complains a lot, dude. And that's something maybe that's why he was in the doghouse. But as far as Ricky, man, stuff happens to him, and he never complains about it. He never once complains about it or like gets mad and be like, I'm frustrated, I want the ball more. Not once. Not a diva at all. And that's something you gotta like, man. You saw his coach against, who was it? Miami Dolphins, chewing his ass out. And he took it, man. He took it like a man. He wasn't out there pouting and being like, whatever. And like, it wasn't my fault or whatever. Because actually one of them was Kittle's fault on those, what was it? Illegal shift. He didn't say nothing, bro. He just took it like a man. And I'm like, dude, this guy, he's stand-up kid. Very stand-up. So, I mean, you got a guy that had a few good games, and you have a guy that doesn't complain, a guy that wants to be great, trains to be great. I think year 2 is going to be big, man. I really think it's going to be big. You can't call him a hit, even though, he had one great game. Lombardi, kind of a guy that, he had one good game, like Debo, was it 2 weeks ago, and then all of a sudden, oh no, he's not washed, he's still great. It's like, no, bro, you got to stack up games. So year 2, I think we could start to see what's up with Ricky Pearsall. We'll get a better view, but I don't think he's going to be a bust, man. I cannot see it, man. Just cannot see it. But let me know what you guys think, man. And yeah, man. Hopefully I don't even want to say lose this game, but I want that top 11 pick. That'll be sick. But let's see what happens, man. I don't want to think about it right now. All right, man. Talk to you next time. Peace.
That's all I can say for you. Got soul, too much soul. Foxy clothes, the cutest nose, a groovy set.